I was still terrified. P5. Apocalypse countdown, setting surveillance, exposing the Bullies scandal. The day before the zombie outbreak, a real-life Train to Busan video suddenly trended online. It was taken down within a minute. I knew it was the CDC's doing to stabilize public sentiment. My hands trembled uncontrollably. My whole body went cold. The two dogs sensed something wrong and came to nuzzle my hands. Feeling their warmth, I slowly calmed down. I opened the feed from the cameras in the auditorium safe room to see if anyone was there. Instead, I saw something sickening. During evening study hall, Jared walked into the auditorium with a senior boy. I recognized this boy. He was the one who pushed me out in my past life. I could never forget that face. His name was Tyler. He had a girlfriend, who knew Jared. As soon as they entered, they started making out. Tyler pushed Jared against the door right in front of one of my cameras. Their movements quickened. Disgusting sounds came through the screen. I nearly vomited. I knew Jared was repulsive, but doing this at school I didn't see that coming. Fighting nausea, I clipped their illicit act into a video. Then I heard them talk. Jared, breathless, his voice bobbing with each thrust, You haven't broken up with that bitch yet. Tyler, still busy with Jared's chest, answered in a greedy, urgent tone, Her family has money. She's useful to keep. They continued their affair. When the noises finally stopped, Jared lay in Tyler's arms, unsatisfied. Good. I thought you actually had feelings for her. Tyler kissed him, frowning. No way. She's not as hot as you, not as good in bed, and acts all high and mighty. But she's rich. Why else would I bother? Their whispering made me physically ill. I forced myself to edit their video into a usable form. Destroying someone didn't just mean killing them. Death was too easy. 12 hours until the outbreak, I sat on my soft bed watching the news. 10 hours until the outbreak. Zombies in the neighboring state emerged from corners, but NYC was still quiet. 8 hours until the outbreak. Everyone at Lincoln High received a video on their phones. Everyone except Jared, Tyler, and their friends. 6 hours until the outbreak. Jared arrived at school. Classmates looked at him with disgust. People pointed and whispered. 5 hours until the outbreak. Jared exploded in class. Who the fuck sent this? A text appeared on his phone. Jared, having fun. His hand holding the phone shook. 4 hours until the outbreak. The disciplinary dean pushed open the classroom door. Who's Jared? Come to my office. Call your parents. 3 hours until the outbreak. Jared found Tyler, his voice panicked. Tyler, what do I do? Tyler yelled at him, his face twisted with disgust. What are you doing here? Isn't this bad enough? Seeing Tyler's reaction, Jared's panic turned to anger. You had fun when we did it, and now you're ashamed of me. Their argument grew louder. Tyler's girlfriend walked over, her gaze mocking. I thought it was someone special. Oh, it's just you. Her words weren't aggressive, but they were full of humiliation. Jared's face went pale, then red. 1 hour until the outbreak. On the streets of Manhattan, a man in hiking gear staggered slowly toward the nearest person. No one noticed at first, until he reached a bus stop and sank his teeth into the neck of a girl listening to music with earbuds. People saw his face. His eyes had no normal pupils, just white tinged with blue. Veins bulged conspicuously. His teeth had become serrated, like saw blades. Screams erupted. People fled in all directions. He tore into the girl, swallowing her flesh piece by piece. Many ran, but some reckless ones pulled out their phones to film. Perhaps energized by his meal, his movements became swift. He ran to one filmer and bit directly into his head. The girl he had devoured, her bones now exposed, her flesh shredded, began to move, crawling back up. P6. Apocalypse arrives, hiding in the bunker, watching the bullies' predicament. As the outbreak began, I sat in my safe house, watching live videos from different angles. At the same time, a scream shattered the silence at Lincoln High, interrupting Jared and Tyler's argument. On the sports field, people fell and then rose again, slow but unified, walking toward crowded areas. I opened the feed from the auditorium. The school reacted quickly, moving some people into the safe room. Among them, of course, were Jared and his goons, and Tyler. I looked at the faces on the screen. They were the same as in my past life. There was one new face, one I hadn't seen before. But I recognized her. A classmate who had been bullied by Jared, just like me. Goosebumps rose all over my body. My rebirth hadn't changed anything. I had left, but someone else had simply taken my place. Just like before. The school gave them what little food they had and told them to wait for rescue. I couldn't bear to watch the teachers, some rushing out desperately to see their families one last time, others staying to help the National Guard. I switched the camera to the scene outside. In my past life, I had been sent to the safe room immediately, so I didn't know what it looked like outside. Now, seeing it was horrifying. Everyone on the streets had turned into zombies, scattered or gathered, feasting on a corpse. When they finished, they joined the larger zombie group. Even though I was safe, my palms and back were drenched in cold sweat. I couldn't imagine if I had dismissed this as just a dream, would I have met the same fate as before. Then I began blaming myself. If I had reported the outbreak to the government in advance, would the infection have been smaller? But who would have believed me? I curled up on the sofa, hugging my arms, feeling my hands tremble. The two dogs, just waking up, wobbled over and touched me with their wet noses. Looking at my stockpiles, I told myself, your own survival matters most. Do not be a saint. I shut off all news and outside information. I tried to forget the world beyond. Holding the two dogs, I watched a show on my laptop. Before I knew it, I fell asleep on the sofa. When I woke, it was 9 the next morning. I made myself a tomato-flavored folded pancake, filled the dogs' bowls, and sat at the table, slowly opening my phone. Immediately, dozens of messages from Jared popped up, all demanding, cursing, "Did those things bite you to death? Bitch, did you know this was coming? You better be dead. Because if I find you, I'll make your life hell." I watched the vile words scroll across the screen. I had planned to wait until they were nearly starving, but now I felt like moving things up. I picked up my phone and called Jared directly. He answered almost instantly. His grating voice came through, "Little bitch, still alive, hey." I laughed softly. If I died so soon, I'd miss watching you get bitten to death by zombies. Jared, like an enraged dog, howled, "Bitch, you'll die first. Get me food within an hour, or you'll regret it." I laughed at his useless rage. "Jared, are you insane? Have you seen what's happening out there? You think I'm still scared of you? Instead of threatening me, you should figure out how to escape that safe room of yours." Jared's insults continued, but I didn't care. I hung up and opened the camera feed. After I hung up, Jared thrashed like a fighting dog, even yelling at his sidekicks. Watching his agitation, I felt a mischievous urge. I took my phone, snapped a close-up of my uneaten pancake, and sent it to Jared. Predictably, Jared started cursing at the photo. I knew the school had given them only instant noodles, not even hot water. In my past life, I ate only 2 packs of noodles in 3 days, and Jared stole them. Then came the barrage of calls. Of course, he was furious and wanted to kill me. But watching him like this gave me a strange thrill. On the 40th call, after I finished my pancake, I answered slowly. "Jared, didn't your mother teach you not to bother people while they're eating? Where the fuck are you, Chloe? Bring me food now. Did you forget I still have something on you?" Jared's voice was both angry and venomous. I lowered my voice. "Jared, you don't think anyone cares about pictures of a bullied girl during a mass evacuation, do you?" The leverage he meant those pictures of them humiliating me. Tearing my clothes, pouring cold water over my head, grabbing my hair and chopping it off. Jared froze. I could see his expression clearly on camera. He hadn't expected me to be so reckless. I continued, "You think I don't have anything on you? You think that video everyone got this morning just appeared out of nowhere? You're not the only one who can record, don't you? A bullied female student and a male student hooking up in the school auditorium. Which one do you think is more interesting? Oh, and Jared, you've got a nice body. I bet the guys in the safe room would love it, wouldn't they?" I saw Jared's body tremble noticeably. I laughed out loud. "Jared, you'd better think carefully about how to save your phone battery." I hung up directly and continued watching him on the screen. He gripped his phone tightly and looked around at the other guys. He knew exactly what I meant. 17 or 18-year-old boys, right at the peak of their desires. If someone saw that video again, someone would definitely act. Seeing how cautious he'd become, my mood improved considerably. I took out my 15th birthday gift from my father, a drone. I still wanted to see what the outside world looked like. After studying the instructions for half an hour, I successfully flew the drone out. The footage from the drone made me suck in a breath of cold air. If yesterday the city was littered with corpses, today the city belonged to the zombies. Even the noise of the drone attracted the zombies' interest. They looked up at my drone, their torn faces and exposed bones clearly visible. My stomach churned, and I ran to the bathroom. Some zombies had lost their eyes entirely, wandering aimlessly through streets that looked like they'd been hosed down with blood. Perhaps because of the zombies, their rotting flesh had started to decay. Some even had maggots on them. I couldn't keep watching that scene. I quickly retrieved the drone. I looked back at Jared in the safe room. He was dry-eating instant noodles, looking very unhappy, almost disgusted. I decided to help him out. I sent him the zombie photos I'd just taken. His hand holding the phone stiffened, and he ran to a corner to vomit. The people around him started getting annoyed. Someone muttered, "If you're not going to eat it, don't waste the resources." It seemed to be the first time Jared had been put in his place. His face turned ashen. Day 3 of the outbreak. Electricity and water were still working. I slept until past 1 in the afternoon, then checked online for news. The US government had begun a nationwide search and rescue operation. That was heartening news, but the comments below were still nasty. Why start a nationwide rescue on day 3? Why not day 1? Does the government really care about people's safety? Agree. My supplies are almost gone, and there's still no sign of rescue teams. These comments made my blood boil. I grabbed my phone and fired back. You think you'd still be online reading this if they hadn't started? There are far more civilians than National Guardsmen. They have families too. Then I angrily tossed my phone aside. Human nature truly couldn't withstand scrutiny. I felt relieved that I'd decided to save only myself. I got out of bed. The 2 little dogs, starving, ran to my feet wagging their tails. As soon as I stood up, I noticed the air had gotten much colder. I checked the temperature 0 degrees Celsius. This sudden drop shocked me. Normally, the coldest New York got was a few degrees below 0. I quickly put on my winter pajamas, lit a small heater for the dogs, and refilled their food bowls. My main task now was to eat through my vegetables. I took out all the hot pot essentials, plus some lamb, beef, and tripe. I decided to have hot pot today. After preparing everything, I started taking photos of the ingredients. How could I forget to send them to Jared? I opened my phone and sent the pictures. Then I opened my computer. Watching Jared get angry, I realized, was more entertaining than any variety show or TV drama. But the next second, I didn't think so anymore. I opened the video from last night. Jared and his 2 sidekicks were stealing instant noodles from another girl. She was the other bullied kid in class. Clearly, with me gone, they were taking their frustrations out on her. I was worried this girl might suffer the same fate as my past self. I didn't really know her, I had almost no impression of her, but I remembered her, a girl in my class, curled up in a corner. The 3 of them took her noodles and verbally abused her. "You're useless. Just go out and feed the zombies." Yeah. Then we'd have more food." Jared slapped her face. "Do you understand what I'm saying?" The people around acted as if they saw nothing, their expressions cold and indifferent. The girl, hearing "feed the zombies," began to tremble all over, hugging her knees in the corner. Jared and his crew looked at her and left, satisfied. Jared took out his phone, looked at the messages I'd sent him, then suddenly shouted to the other students in the auditorium, "Hey, everyone, come look. She's got tons of supplies." Hearing supplies, many crowded around. Jared held up his phone for everyone to see and began to agitate. "Look how she's eating. She must have a huge stockpile. All we have to do is find her, kill her, and those supplies are ours. We won't have to choke down these instant noodles anymore." Everyone was tempted by the hot pot photos, but the mention of killing made them hesitate. They were just underage students. How could they? I watched coldly, the corners of my mouth turning up. I got up, walked to my supply area, took photos of everything, and sent them to Jared one by one, along with a message, "I have everything here." Jared picked up his phone, waved it excitedly, and yelled, "Look. See, I told you she has tons of supplies. Enough to last us a year or more." I quietly observed their actions. Many had hesitated at first, but now, seeing the supply photos, many were tempted. My smile widened. This was part of my plan. I hadn't expected it to work, but now I was thrilled. My plan: Jared would apologize to me, and then I'd reveal my location. I rented a bus and parked it next to the auditorium, installing cameras inside the bus as well. I even left the key in the door, then told them where I lived, the apartment that had already been sold, but no one had moved in yet. How did I know? Because I had installed cameras there too. I gave them the information. I let them go to my old home. In the place where I grew up, I had also prepared some surprises for them. In my past life, none of those people saved me. They all stood by and watched. People like that, they should know the consequences. That's why they hesitated. So I chose to send them photos of all my supplies. Everyone wants to survive. I was sure they wouldn't stay calm in an undersupplied safe room after seeing that much food. I was delighted to see their excitement. I continued watching the screen. A chubby guy stepped forward. I can drive. I often drive trucks and cars with my dad. Even a box truck. But we need to know where she is. A girl nodded. Right. We don't know where she is. Going out there blind is suicide. Then I saw Jared, like a overconfident fool, tell them, I'll ask her. She wouldn't dare not tell me. But I have one condition. To my surprise, the students believed him. They said if he could get her location, they'd agree to his condition. Jared, satisfied, said, then you all need to cover for me at all times. Because without me, you won't know where she is. They nodded. Jared asked, how many of you want to come with me to find her? Of the 80+ people on screen, more than 60 raised their hands. Jared was even more pleased. He told everyone not to worry and that he would call me immediately. He took out his phone and made a video call. I received the request. I turned off the video and switched to voice. Jared made a quiet gesture to the others, then spoke to me in a very gentle voice, hey, Chloe, can you tell me where you are? When I didn't respond, he continued, I was wrong about everything before. Can you forgive me? I pretended to be hurt. Do you really know you were wrong? He immediately replied, really, Chloe. There are so many zombies outside, I can barely protect myself. Otherwise, I'd find you and apologize in person, kneel down and confess. He sounded so sincere. If I couldn't see his expression on video, I might have believed he was truly repentant. I played along. Yeah, it's so dangerous out there now. Luckily, my dad was planning to open a grocery store and left a lot of stuff at my place. Otherwise, I don't know how I'd survive. At the word my place, Jared perked up, but quickly restrained himself. He said, sounding sad, okay. Then be careful on your own. If I live through this, I'll definitely apologize to you. He hung up immediately, then turned excitedly to the others, I know where she is. She's at her home. I know where that is. Midtown Manhattan apartment, 12B. Their faces lit up with excitement. Looking at their greedy expressions made me sick. I took a sip of my drink and began anticipating their fate. My past life had shown me their true faces, taught me how cruel human nature can be in such circumstances. I quietly watched the screen as they excitedly discussed how to reach the bus and then find and kill me. Sure enough, a leopard doesn't change its spots. The chubby guy walked to the auditorium door, peeked through a small crack, then turned to Jared and the others and said, how do we get past those nasty things outside? Yes, their biggest problem now was how to reach the bus. Everyone threw out suggestions. Some said take stools to fight, others said they were slow, just keep distance. Jared suddenly smiled and looked at the girl they had been bullying. Fiona trembled and said, I have an idea. Do you want to hear it? Jared's smile looked innocent, yet sent chills down the spine.